That he doesn't know it will cost him his life. And when you think about how, people think, like you're saying, just in the secret, they do all this. That's why, if I could say one thing to you guys, is get accountable to someone.
Absolutely.
Have someone who you're accountable to. Keep short accounts. We always talk about this at our church.
And don't have accountability with somebody who is struggling with the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I think that in those senses, you know what the other person is probably doing, and you may not want to address that person because you were doing the same thing. So there's really no accountability there. You need to get with somebody who's going to call sin sin, and who's not going to let you, walk in it. You need to get away and cut yourself off. It's the same thing. You need to cut yourself off from the people who are going to allow you to smoke up, from the people that are going to allow you to get drunk, from the people that are going to, clap their hands and say, hey, who did you sleep with last night? You need to get away from those kind of people. You can't just, still be a witness amongst all of them if they're the kind of people that are going to let you go through life screwing up all the time. That's not accountability.
Yeah. And the thing, too, is some of you, I just can kind of hear it as we're talking, some people are saying, well, what's wrong with doing all this? What's wrong with all that? Besides, if you were to put this away, if someone didn't believe in this, and you're saying, well, what's wrong with that? Well, every time you have sex with someone, every time you do anything like that, it's what marriage is about. It's like when you guys got married, you became one, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a soul tie. Now, when you're not married and every weekend you're sleeping with this guy, that guy, or a girl sleeping with, or a guy sleeping with this, or whatever, and all the messed up of what the world is trying to tell you what's true, which isn't true. But they're sleeping with all these people and you're doing all this stuff. And even with pornography, and you're looking at this stuff and it's all going, your soul is getting tied up with all these things all around you. And no wonder you feel crappy. No wonder you're walking around and you feel like you're walking like this and you can't even stand up. No wonder. You're tied, you're carrying all these people's junk and crap and all this stuff on you.
Yeah.
And that's why, with Jesus, with his power that when you receive him and he comes into you, you're able to, and say, in the name of Jesus, I sever that ungodly soul tie. Yeah. I break it off so that it's gone,
I think with that, Joe, something that Adam and I were talking about this morning is in Galatians 5:14. It says to love your neighbor as yourself. And what kind of struck me in that is, we can all be nice to other people. It doesn't really take a lot to somebody to be nice to those that are around us. We can do that. We can love those people around us. Sometimes it's easier to love those people around us. But what it says is love your neighbor, love other people as you love yourself. But if you don't love yourself, if you have no self-worth, then none of this is even possible. How are you supposed to love your neighbor as you love yourself if you hate yourself? You hate yourself enough to go and expose your body to men or expose your body to women, or both, if that's what you're doing. Yeah. You're exposing yourself to all of these people, opening yourself up to all of these things without even a care in the world that these things are going to be detrimental to your life. I'm not just talking about something that I've heard happen. I'm talking about my personal testimony, stuff that I know that I've been through, that God literally has had to save me out of. I should be dead in an alley somewhere, or, whatever. God literally saved me out of a lifestyle that would have literally destroyed and killed my life. And I had no self-worth. I didn't think that I was important. The only way that I knew how to be loved was to sleep with somebody. And God had to heal my understanding of even who I was as a person. God had to heal my identity. Who am I? Who is Jessica now Cronin? Who's Jessica Cronin to the rest of the world? Do I have a purpose? Do I have a reason? But what's Jeremiah 1 talk about? Before you were formed in your mom's womb, God knew you. He set you apart. He called you. He gave you a destiny. He gave you a purpose. But there's so many people that are walking around in the world right now that have no hope. They don't think that they have a reason to live. There's people that are committing suicide because they don't know how to love themselves, because they've been told by their mother, by their father, by their brother, by their sister, by friends that they're worthless, that they were nothing. And because they think they're nothing, they now can't even fathom, how can I go on another minute in my life when nobody wants me around? There's no point in me being here. And I think the world struggles with stuff like that. Youth, it's a culture, it's a cultural thing that we don't know how to be around one another. We don't know how to love people. We don't know how to say, hey man, I love you, without having people saying, oh no, like what are they trying to do? Are they, I'm not like that, settle down. But, people don't know how to say that to one another. They don't know how to love things. I mean, I say to Adam that I love him, but I also say to Adam that I really love that TV show, or I really love this and that. And where's the word love come along? There are obviously these different forms of love, but when we come back to the true passion, where it talks about coming back to a passion about Jesus and a passion about Christ, we need to, as Christians, really truly love one another, really truly be able to pull one another out of the muck and call people for what they are, like call people's sin for what it is. You don't hate the sinner, you hate the sin. You hate what the person is doing and what you see that person becoming. I mean, how many times did people see the person that I was becoming, and they were just like, that's horrible, how could you do stuff like that? But when you are walking around with little self-worth, it's hard to... Are you okay?
That's okay.
Cut this out of the video.
Or we'll have it and everyone will laugh.
Are you right? But when you have little self-worth, it's hard for you to be able to even love your neighbor, to love somebody else. And how do you know that God hasn't put you in your place of employment, or put you in the family that you're in, or around the friends that you have, or walking down the street one day and there's somebody standing by the bus shelter that is on their way home to kill themselves, but you are that person that's supposed to speak hope into their life. We have to, and if we're so full of our own flesh, this is the whole thing about flesh and the spirit. If you're walking in the spirit, you're going to hear God say, hey, I want you to go talk to that person. This is the word I want you to give. But if you're so full of all of these other things, you're not going to be able to even fathom saying, hey man, like that person's got some issues and I need to go help them. You're not even going to be able to do that because your mind's on the porn that you're going home to watch, or your mind's on the guy you just slept with, or your mind's on, last night when you were drunk out of your tree and you don't remember who you slept with. Right. If we're going to get down and dirty about things, get down and dirty about things. Yeah. You got to call sin, sin. And so many times in the church, people don't want to, say sex in church. People don't want to say promiscuity in church. But there's this stuff's going on. This stuff's going on in your worship teams. This stuff's going on with pastoral staff. This stuff is going on with people that are in your church. People that are, have this great look on their outside, but on the inside they're broken. And if we're not walking in the spirit, we will be deceived by people that are walking in the flesh, yet have the outward clothing of a sheep, but inside they're in the the wolf clothing kind of a thing. Like, we need to be really discerning to know who we're going to allow speak into our lives and who we're going to allow to interact with us. I mean, we're responsible. You are who your friends are, right? Yeah. So if your friends are dirty, rotten thieves, you're going to get seen as a dirty, rotten thief, whether you are or not. You need to watch who you're allowing to speak into your life, who you're allowing to talk into your life. So
yeah, and I think when we were talking earlier about Jesus never he was tempted, but he was able to push through. He was walking in spirit, and that's Absolutely. The reason why if he wasn't, then he wouldn't be who he is.
Absolutely.
And that if you're thinking, well, are you meaning that I can actually walk in the spirit and be able to pass through these things that I just feel so crappy about after? I've always heard people saying that we're getting down and dirty. We said that. So if people say, I need that, and I need this, and I need that, and we're talking about sexual immorality, and there's like that one couple seconds or whatever it is of you just feel so great, but then after you feel like a piece of rotten crap, just sitting on the ground and somebody stepped on you and spit on you and pushed you around. I mean, everyone struggles with these things. We're not, like, we're in the world, but we don't need to be of it. And God wants us to be free. Yeah. We sing, some people sing songs in worship, They're like, I'm free to run, and then they go back home and they choose to live the way they want to.
Yeah.
They don't live it out. I am free. I am